Okay, so today we're going to further factor polynomials, only we're going to be looking at several different types, including a coefficient greater than 1. So take a second to write this down. Okay, so yesterday we talked about splitting up this middle term. When I split up this middle term, I make two separate terms. Okay, and remember we talked about yesterday that when we did that, this kind of looked like factor by grouping. And you have 4 terms, we use the box method and we factor by grouping, right? Okay, so what can I make 9x? Split 9x into? Okay, normally we would do that, right? But yesterday we talked about, let's see, but 9 and 1 makes 10x. 8 and 2 makes 10x. 8 and 1 would make 9x. Okay, but this time, and normally yesterday we did 8 plus 1 is 9x, but 8 times 1 would make 9. Right? That doesn't work. I'm sorry, 8 times 1 would make 8, and that doesn't work. So the reason is that we have a leading coefficient greater than 1, and we have a constant back here. We have to consider both of these terms when factoring 9x. So what two numbers, or how can I split 9x up into 2 different terms where it would be easily factored with 2 and easily factored with 10? So think about that. 8 and 1 make 9. Does that work? 8 and 1? Maybe. What about 7 and 2? Would 7 and 2 work? 2 would work over here, but is 7 factored with 10? 5 and 4. 5 and 4 might work. Which one would be the 5 and which one would be the 4? The 4 would be on which side? The right side or the left side? So this would be a 4 and this would be a 5? That looks like it would work. Let's try it. 4x and 5x. Okay, what do 2x squared and 5x have in common? They have an x. X times what makes 2x squared? X times what makes 5x? And what times 2x makes 4x? And 2 times 5 makes 10. So that, in fact, works. X plus 2 times 2x plus 5 would give us 2x squared plus 9x plus 10. Questions on that? Pretty straightforward. Right? You just have to think about it a little bit more. You can't just think about the constant anymore when you're trying to figure out how you're going to split up 9x. Now you have to think about this coefficient and this constant. Okay, so let's look at another one. Take a second to look at this. Okay, so this one's a little bit easier because we don't have a leading coefficient greater than 1, right? There's only a 1 in front of there. So that's not going to affect us factoring 8x. So how could we factor 8x so that these two terms add up to 8x but multiply and get 15? Good. 5 and 3. So I put 5x in the box and 3x in the box. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. And 5 is the greatest common factor of these terms down here. Double check. 5 times 3 is 15. So I have x plus 3 and x plus 5. Ready for the next one? All right, this one isn't as obvious. Take a look at this one. We still, 1 is our leading coefficient. So this isn't going to affect this number right here. But this time I have, how can I break up 5x so when I multiply I get negative 14? Oh, you guys are smart. Negative 7x and 2x? Let's try it. Negative 7x and 2x. x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x. And negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. Excellent. X minus 7, x plus 2. Questions on that one? Am I going too quickly? No? What about this one? This is a positive number, but this number is negative. Let's look at the back. Excuse me. Let's look back at the last one. I have two negatives. All right. Whenever you have a negative back here, that means this number times this number. One of these has to be negative. Does that make sense? Because one of them has to be negative because a negative times a positive makes a negative. Right? This one also has a negative in the back. That means one of these numbers is going to be positive, and one of these numbers is going to be negative. Right? Because a positive times a negative is a negative. So one of these has got to be negative, and one of these has to be positive. Yes, sir? Good job. 8x and negative 4x would give us positive 4x. I'm going to put the 8x here and the negative 4x here. X times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Common factor here is 8. 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. Just raise your hand if I'm going too fast. I told you it was going to be more difficult. Is it more difficult? Not really? A little bit. A little bit? No? Good. X plus 8, x minus 4. Okay, the next two. Sage and scribe. So I want you to turn to your shoulder partner and do rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. Okay, who wants to sage for me? On D. Elgin, you want to tell me how to do it? Never mind. Let's move these a little bit so we have room.
There we go, Elgin.
Okay. Tell me how I can factor 3x. 2x and 1x. Let's see if that works. So in here, what do I put in this box? 2x squared. What do I put in this box? Okay, and which one do I put which one in? Does it matter? Not really. Okay, let's factor. There. 1 times 1 is 1. That works. So this is x plus 1 times 2x plus 1. Okay, who wants to who wants to sage for me on this one other than Elgin? Anthony, how'd you do it? 6x and 1x. Good. So what goes here? These were kind of hints over here, right? Okay, go ahead. Thank you. X times what makes 3x squared, Patrick? And x, oops, my pen is acting up on me right now. Sorry, give me a quick second. Okay, and x times what makes x? 2 times 3 makes 6x, and 2 times 1 makes 2. So 3x plus 1 times x plus 2. Notice that if you have a positive sign in front of this constant, both signs are going to be positive. Positive sign, both signs positive. Look back here. A negative means at least one of them has to be negative. What about this one? Two negatives. At least one of them has to be negative, because this is negative. Yes, sir. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that one in a minute. All right, let's do F. There's some clues here, an X and a 1. So what showdown means is that I want you to do it individually, and then when I say showdown, everybody turn and look at the group of 4 around you, which you guys are kind of an odd group of 4 here. Just kind of talk with each other, okay? Okay, so if you would have gotten stuck on this one, you could have said, well, X times 2X, since they already gave me X here, is 2X squared, and X times 1 is X. So I know one of these has to be X. And if one of them's X, what's the other one going to be? What plus X makes 7X? 6X. And what do 6X and 3 have in common? 3. Does that work? 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3. So my factors are X plus 3 and 2X plus 1. I'm sorry, my binomial. Questions? Good job.